All right, Donald Trump and his administration are about to crush 42 million Americans. When Trump is president, there are a lot of different groups of people you don't want to be. And apparently, the latest one is anybody receiving food stamp benefits. And some are suggesting this will really hurt Republicans in 2026. Let me explain. The USDA just posted a message on its website. Bottom line, the well has run dry. No food stamp benefits will be issued November 1st. That is 42 million Americans. It's 1 in 8 people who rely on SNAP, also known as food stamps, to feed their families. And starting November 1st, benefits are simply going to stop. This was optional. The USDA has $6 billion in contingency funds. This is emergency money designed for a situation where maybe government is closed and you are not going to be able to make those payouts. Well, you've got the $6 billion in reserve. Legal experts say it's not optional, that the administration is required to use that money. Georgetown law professor David Super says the claim that they can't use the contingency funds is without any foundation or merit. Not only can they use the money, they must use the money, but they say they are not going to do it. Now, the kicker is this. During Trump's first shutdown, back during his first term, his administration said, you know what we're going to do? Let's send out the food stamp benefits early to prevent this from happening. While government is still open, we'll get food stamps benefits out in advance, and then we won't end up in this situation. They knew how to avoid it. The proof is they avoided it during Donald Trump's first shutdown in his first term. So why aren't they doing it now? That's the question. Now, the USDA under Trump is blaming Democrats. They're saying, oh, Senate Democrats are keeping the government shut in order to get health care for illegal aliens and gender mutilation. These are their words. Of course, none of this is true. And the incredible, I don't know whether it's an irony. This is a sad thing. Republicans love to frame food stamps as something that people who are undeserving of are sucking at the teat of government and living large. The average benefits are a couple $100 a month in food stamps. That's all that it is. And there is a contingent of Republicans that says this is a luxury that people are being given and they don't really deserve it or whatever. We are talking about 42 million people, Americans, many of them voters, who are now going to have a budget shortfall because of these benefits not going out. Those 42 million, I don't think care about blame games. I believe they care about food. And the nightmare scenario that can develop for Donald Trump is that the federal government pays $8 billion monthly in food stamps benefits to 250,000 food retailers. Understand that. There's a reason why food stamps are one of the most economically stimulative forms of government spending. I'll kind of quick reminder. When we talk about an economic multiplier, what we mean is if you spend here, what is the overall stimulative effect on the economy? One of the things we know is if you give very rich people a tax cut, it's not very stimulative to the economy. Why? Because they mostly save that money. The very wealthy aren't spending their full income. And so if you raise what they are going to end up netting by a little bit, they're not going to spend that money. It's just going to sit in a bank account. And while that does have some economic stimulus in that the money can be loaned out to others, it is relatively small. On the other hand, you look at food stamps. Food stamps on the total other side of the economic stimulus spectrum. Food stamps are one of the most stimulative ways governments can spend. Why? If you're receiving food stamps, you are almost certainly going to redeem all of those food stamps at local grocery stores. Why? Because you need the money. When you put all of that money into a grocery store, now it does demand side stimulus in your community. The money the grocery store gets is used to buy more food and products that they sell, which stimulates other businesses. It's used to pay their employees. The more demand there is for grocery store food, the more employees they need to service that demand. The economic stimulus is huge. So Trump's nightmare here is that not only is he going to imperil his political friendship, I guess we would say, his political chances with the 42 million that are receiving the food stamps benefits, there are a whole bunch of businesses that depend on the food stamp money as well. And importantly, you are taking that $8 billion a month out of local economies. It's $8 billion that the local grocery stores now don't get. What are they going to do if you take $8 million from them? So Trump did this before and lost. He did it during his first term. His approval tanked. Republicans were blamed. Trump caved, reopened government with nothing because the political pain got too intense. But even then, Trump seemed to understand we don't want to mess with food stamps, which is why he pre-funded them before that previous shutdown. This time, he's not doing it. You look at states like Pennsylvania, you look at states like Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona, millions of food stamp recipients across those states. And when people can't feed their family, they remember who was president when I went hungry. They remember the administration sitting on $6 billion that they could disperse, but are saying they aren't going to. So this is something that can define a presidency. This one is worse because it's about food, which is a basic human need, and the administration has the funds, but they're not going to use them. So if indeed benefits don't go out November 1st, what happens? Food banks will be overrun. Every local news station is going to be doing stories about families that can't afford groceries. Republicans in these competitive districts are going to start to sweat. And I believe the political landscape is going to shift very, very quickly. So we are waiting to see, is there anything that will change between now and then that will get these food stamp benefits out? But if not, this could really be a political nightmare for Donald Trump, and especially for Republicans, because Trump doesn't have to run again, but other Republicans do.